Demo TV, Demo TV, Demo TV. Say it again to yourself and then tell a friend what's going on with you. We here today. We're gonna talk to you about actually what's going on in the news, as far as hip hop goes, and just what's out there in the world. Period.
Yeah, man. First off, we're gonna start it off with a salute to NBA YoungBoy. He just got a $60 million deal. But he definitely had his business mind on point. Shout out to Jordan Lucas too, because I want to just shout out that
Highest paid underground artist.
I mean, highest paid artist almost in general, because I mean, just the percentage that he getting back is just
if I'm not
ridiculous.
mistaken,
But the person that put it out there, Bobby Shmurda,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying, for niggas to not understand that these kids are smarter than you give them credit for. That's why you have NBA YoungBoy getting the kind of deal he getting right now, or Lil Baby, you know, having the kind of success he having right now. And then, you know, older artists not getting that same type of participation from their fans. But I think it boils down to older artists not crossing the line sometimes. You know, when E40 dropped his last project, I think he blurred the lines well enough to where the younger generation was fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? He had the right kind of features, and I think the game did too. I just think that maybe the Eminem diss, that wasn't really, I don't think he was trying to make it an aggressive diss. I think he was just trying to say some things and say it clear enough that you can hear it.
He was just letting Eminem know.
In a monotone way.
I think he was letting Eminem know, like, even with Peasy's letting Eminem know, where's Marshall? You know what I'm saying? Like, Marshall's,
I think Peasy representing for the whole perception that people be having outside of Detroit. He giving you the inside Detroit perception that, you know what I'm saying, it's Marshall didn't build up.
And I think both of their point of views,
reputation of all these artists that's popping out of Detroit right now.
I think both of their point of views are very, very relevant to who we actually, to, you know, if you were a Michigander, so to speak, or if you were in an Interscope vein.
No, we talking about him being the best, right? We talking
being
about
the best.
Yeah, all right. Just want to make sure we're on the same page.
So we're both speaking to the fact that Eminem is not our Lord and Savior when it comes to hip hop.
No, not when it comes to flows, especially when, you know, my personal opinion on it is Eminem is like a rebirth of like a Tech 9.
Oh yeah, that's valid.
You know what I'm saying? Just because Tech been doing it for a long time, he been, you know, doing that syllable rap for a minute.
Yeah.
And I don't think that cats really understand the legend that, you know, Tech 9 is. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times we get these, you know, white rappers that can actually do their thing on the mic. You know what I'm saying? We don't really get it all the time,
but shout out to Eminem though.
We get it, and we like, oh, he can rap. He doing his thing. We don't look at the articulation with the accent. You know what I'm saying? He has an accent that most other rappers can't bring to the game because we don't have that white accent.
Right.
Then you get a fan base that's, you know, already is the catalyst of album sales in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to who buys the most albums, it's always been white America. You know what I'm saying? But when you have a white artist and you got white America supporting that, then it looks like this guy is bigger than he actually is. And I think that's Peasy saying that, nah, Detroit, we've all built our own legacies. You know what I'm saying? From Big Sean to Icewear to Payroll to Peasy to
I gotta give it to
Side to Doughboys.
I want to touch on something I saw.
You know, 42, all these other rappers from Detroit.
I want to touch on something that Peasy had also said in an interview. He went to T Grizzly, and he said that T Grizzly doesn't get his flowers for kind of boasting how actually.
I think T Grizzly was kind of like the Nipsey Hussle of Detroit. You know what I'm saying?
The way that the Detroit rap is actually delivered. Peasy was saying that that's how we sound, and I have to agree with that. Then I went to that interview where Peasy touched on where he was with $1 million worth of game, T Grizzly, and T Grizzly has said, you know,
I think T Grizzly put it out there. Like, why would even with the Obi Trice situation? Not Obi Trice, but excuse me, but Royce the 5'9" situation when he was saying like, why would you not come through the song with the up and coming?
Right.
You know
I almost forgot about that.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like T Grizzly kind of put it out there, and low key Bezo kind of did put it out there too, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That, you know, niggas ain't really playing Eminem shit like that.
Nobody playing that shit.
You know what I'm saying? Not in the inner city.
Like, don't get me wrong. That song that came out with Dr. Dre on it. That shit, that was fire.
Yeah, but I mean that didn't have the soul of Detroit. That wasn't even the cadence that Detroit would have as a beat. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Trick because he made sure that Detroit name kept ringing on until it was the point where it was some artists ready to be developed and be pushed out the way they getting pushed out. And I think Trick held Eminem accountable for being able to run and use the name Detroit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But when we look at it, it's not like, niggas, when we ride and we in the city or we influenced by the music out of the city or we doing shows in the city, we hearing city music. You know what I'm saying? We being around city artists. We're not around Eminem. It's just, it don't rock like that. And I think that's what PZ is doing when he saying, where's Marshall? Because that's not the ingredient that has to be put into the sauce to make a good Detroit rapper.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? To make a good Detroit essence character. You don't have to have that 8 Mile vibe. It ain't all about
it's not all about that, man. So,
but battle rapping is a huge part of Detroit history and hip hop ancestry. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Royce the 5'9" and shout out to Eminem. Real good spitters, but
when it comes down to that, what Detroit represent, man, it's a different cloth.
Yeah.
And that get represented by some of the guys that's out now that got good music
So would you
and been
say,
working for years. We got Detroit artists been in the game for more than 12, 15 years almost, man. You know what I'm saying?
So would you say that based on what Peasy was saying, and it's crazy too, because I didn't realize how he put on Rio, the young OG. I didn't know that. I thought he came from his own he started from his own situation. He put him on. And I also thought that they were related, but they weren't. But they just had family ties.
And that's what Detroit is. It's about being a boss.
Yeah.
And that's what Peasy did with Rio. And I'm not saying that he over this nigga, but in a business sense, he is. This is a product. Detroit knows talent. Detroit is talent. This is Motown.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or that's Motown because we not in Detroit. I ain't one of them niggas that just because we live by Detroit. We ain't Detroit, man. We is flat out. But Detroit is Detroit. And even going back to I think I was doing some research and I might be wrong, but I don't even think the Temptations got a Walk of Fame star. You know what I'm saying? So when we talking about legends, man, sometimes hip hop get it wrong. You know what I'm saying?
You talking about as opposed to?
I'm just saying in general, like the way we I think sometimes you got niggas that are legends, and it's gonna take time even after death for them to become the legend.
To walk in that legend.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But then you got guys that in names that been putting in work for a long time, and they don't get that same respect. And I think that's sort of it aligns sort of with the instance with the Eminem and then with the Nipsey Hussle star.
I definitely feel myself.
I think it's premature.
I definitely feel that the game deserves a star. He's been in the game for about 15 years.
I don't know if I'm gonna say the game deserves one, but if Nick gonna get one, why ain't the game?
Well, I say that based on the fact that
you're not opening the door for a lot of
the game had opened up the
Fab got one.
The game opened up a lot of doors for a lot of West Coast artists. For a long time, the West Coast wasn't actually breathing anything. They were still living off the old legacy of Tupac.
The Temptations don't got a star.
I don't know what to say about that. They deserve a star. Each and every individual of the Temptations deserves a star.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, when does it become the legends? I'm not saying Eminem not a legend, but when you be talking about Detroit rising up from the dead and becoming what it is now musically, it's all accredited to those artists and the hard work they put in. From you remember we still got to talk about the Rock Bottoms and the Big Hurts, and you still got Seven the General. You got man, it's so many. It's Mae West. You got Helluva. Helluva's been the
Team Eastside.
Man, it's so many Tone. There's so many guys that have had to that had to do it by themselves. KDZ.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this wasn't Eminem influence. You dig what I'm
this
saying?
was whole. This was,
if anything, a lot of them got a lot of the like the
aspect.
If you gonna give salute to Detroit, you gotta give it to Trick. You gotta give it to Street Lord Wine. You know what I'm saying? Because without them guys, you don't get the Dusty McFlys. You don't get the some of the names.
Shout out to Dusty McFly.
You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of Detroit artists who represent the Detroit sound sonically in the Detroit feel, lifestyle wise, and it creates what Detroit should be.
Right.
Not the perception that Eminem give out there.
Yeah. That's not what Detroit is, man. But shout out to Shady Records and all of that, man. But you brought up NBA YoungBoy a little bit earlier, and I wanted to touch on somebody that he signed. I want to say just last night. Maybe it was the night before, but I believe it was just last night. Quando Rondo.
Okay, NBA YoungBoy signed him?
Well, he's been signed to NBA YoungBoy for a while now. His SUV was just shot up, and the passenger inside of that SUV was killed.
Now, when did this happen?
This happened, I believe, last night in Los Angeles.
Man.
I heard a lot of people talking about King Von, Dirk Sliff Von. That is not even normal for a hip hop artist to just slide like that. These guys are millionaires. Nobody's sliding like that. But what I will say is very unfortunate that they lost a friend of the entourage, and it's very unfortunate as well that.
No, I mean, like, something like when we do this podcast shit, man, like, niggas might talk about the news and the shit like that, but we ain't trying to solve no murders for no police officers either. So niggas ain't gonna dive into shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Niggas ain't gonna make that the topic of discussion.
What happened was, I believe the white car pulled up on him, caught him blindsided.
Yeah. If that's what happened, that's what happened.
15, 20 shots let off. I said, wow. Breaking news, actually. I was sitting there watching something and then...
I mean, but, like, niggas gotta realize, man, look at it, it's some gangster shit. Like, and that's why I said, like, I like talking about, like, the numbers and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? As far as, like, what niggas is doing musically and shit, try to separate the artist from the art. Because, like I said, man, that street shit, nigga, I try to shy away from any of the facts. If niggas want to go research that, let them niggas go research
that. And then that's LA, man, so everything ain't sweet out there and in none of these big cities, man. So, you know what I'm saying, protect yourself at all times, and as we all know from different artists, make sure you're moving accordingly.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying, but, the streets gonna be the streets, and that's one thing motherfucker gotta remember. We talked about on another podcast. When you making street music and you doing street shit, this is part of the shit. Some of the shit come with it. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be surprised when that shit happens. You know what I'm saying? But if he got that good deal and he doing his thing with YoungBoy, salute to that. And just stay dangerous. It is what it is. You know what I mean? But on another note though, Neo is getting a divorce. I don't know why. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't nobody.
I didn't even know Neo had a wife. I don't pay attention to this shit like that though. But yeah, I didn't know he had a wife. I thought he was out here, Mr. Lover Man. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Seems like he's sick of love songs finally.
Yeah. Nah, but it's sad to see black love, whether you knew about it or not, come to an end. But it's good to see that, a lot of these entertainers are married, have been married, and at least try to push that type of narrative.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
You got to shout out, if the marriage don't work, you still got to shout out the effort.
They tried, they tried.
They tried. Like, it ain't like they just, Neo was out here just wilding, you know what I'm saying, and not holding himself accountable in a way to make a person your lifelong mate, at least an attempt of it, you know what I'm saying? So I think that No, he might not have been the best husband, but shout out to him for even crossing the line and jumping the broom. Shout out to his wife for giving the brother a chance, because we need to just see more of that.
You also see Keenan.
Nobody is perfect.
No, definitely not. You also see Keenan. What's it?
Yeah, I saw that.
Keenan, is it Keenan?
I think it's Keenan going through a divorce, and I think Kale already went through one. But I did watch an interview, and it's like, man, about Kale.
Kale,
and it was crazy because it was like, I don't know who telling the truth. Is it the wife, the ex-wife? I mean, is it Kale? And it's just like, damn, man. To hear some of the shit and to be just, one of them guys from that era where we watched Good Burger, we watched, I can't remember what else it was on.
It was something Nickelodeon. The Keenan and Kale show.
Keenan and Kale, okay, yeah. But watching that show and, just being a fan of what they were doing in the comedy arena it's kind of, it's a letdown to see brothers not carrying themselves. Because, we come from that era where, you're supposed to be a player, not a player hater. So you're supposed to give your lady the room to grow. And I was hearing that brother was going to school with her, like in class. Like his wife was describing some very
pushy stuff.
Weird.
Wait a minute. You talking about like his break time and all of a sudden he's outside?
Like she in class answering questions, raising her hand, and he in there in class with her. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And
that's
people
different.
are asking her like, who is this dude that's coming with you over there? The teacher even asked. And then he allegedly enrolled in school at the same time she was so he could watch it.
So what we're hearing is a whole lot of possessiveness right there. That is not the way to be.
It's sad to see it, but he, on his angle and his side, he's saying that she has some infidelity going on.
But that ain't the way to handle it.
But she's saying that she wasn't sexually active until after they were married. She even brought up, that he allegedly had crabs and was called by his mom and him, and she had to let his mom know that, they hadn't had sex, so she's not worried. But the mom was still saying that she should know. So it was a very open situation. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry that she had to go through that. That does not sound like any of that is her fault.
Man. So it was crazy to hear, man. It was crazy to hear.
Fellas, keep it player, bro. You can't be out there doing that. Don't do that.
What else is crazy is Orlando Brown.
That's my guy. I don't give a fuck what he
Before we dive into what he said.
What exactly?
Before he dive into what he said.
He said a lot of stuff. The guash.
Yeah, but I mean, before we dive into that, the nigga's music is well beyond most rap artists that are dropping right now. Like,
I think you should
hear the lyrics.
Michael
Jackson.
Jackson.
The thought process, it's like, nah, this nigga ain't crazy.
Nah.
There's no way this nigga's crazy, because to be able to put together the lyrics and the visuals that he's been able to do with his videographers and the people who have been helping him, if he has a drug problem, stay away from drugs. If it's really Hollywood on his ass, then he's been able to really maintain and balance out that. And it's been something to see. But yeah, he did.
A lot of Hollywood
I think he's putting out some of the Hollywood mysteria. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys, gals don't know if, these type of things happen in Hollywood. And I think he's been putting it out there and been ridiculed because of it. I think that if we give Kanye West passes for the shit that he does, you gotta give Orlando Brown passes.
The problem with Orlando Brown is it's not him exactly. It's that people don't take him serious due to the fact that he was a young Nickelodeon artist and he is trying to cross over into hip hop. And to be honest with you, he could rap better than a lot of hip hop artists right now.
Is he trying to cross over? Is he been crossed? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not looking at it in specific
like
to that.
When
what
we
I'm
become
saying
rappers,
is,
it's normally when we're kids and we in the hood. And
but what I'm saying is,
so he might have already been a rapper.
What I'm saying is, his talent exceeds the norm. You see what I'm saying? So for him to have that type of bag on him, and what I mean by bag is that natural talent, and plus the jewels that he's dropping in interviews. I think that we should take
a kid without multi-talent. So he was probably already out.
Drake was Degrassi at first, so I understand.
That's Disney.
Same concepts.
She stars.
Yeah.
And it's nuts though, because I don't know if he got writers though. I think this nigga is really, and I mean, if it take off for him, and then maybe he got to get writers, then I understand Drake what he was doing. But yeah, the shit he says, I think that's people don't want to accept that Hollywood is disgusting.
I think he could end up being a better entertainer than Drake.
I think he already is a better entertainer than Drake. I think he knows how to market himself. I think he knows how to troll.
I think now what needs to happen is a big enough lane needs to kind of like evolve into him. With him pushing the way he's pushing right now, because from what I was looking at with his music, he's been dropping music like almost
consistently.
Yeah, very, very consistent. And then, like I said, his music is dope. He just did a Michael Jackson rendition that I thought it was phenomenal. Like, when I heard on that song was I only heard two people on that song. I heard him himself, and it reminded me of something Drake Mack would have did. But that's what made me kind of click into it more. When I heard that song, I kind of listened to it like 3 or 4 times, and I was just like, bro, do you hear what
the lyrics? The lyrics is just something that are so far past a lot of these guys. Like, he kind of reminded me of Side Prince, the way he was able to, paint a picture, but it was even better. You know what I'm saying? And the words and the expose that was going on in the lyrics. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It was like, damn, cuz is just really coming at you as an animal. And then, one of the things that stood out to me was we forget that, we are human beings that come from real,
right.
If we black, we come from inner city areas.
Yeah.
And Orlando Brown claims to be big blood.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Man, listen, when I tell you I went down a rabbit hole.
I'm still here.
I went down a rabbit hole and I was looking at some of this dude's antics. I was looking at some of his background.
Yeah.
I really saw that he's a real human being. He's a person. And then, nobody's excluded from inner city activity. You know what I'm saying?
Nope. That's the
nobody's excluded from inner city activity. And it was refreshing to see that it was still some humanity in that nigga.
Yeah.
Like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And then to see the people around him while he shooting the video, some of his entourage, some of the niggas he probably grew up with. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to remember these people have lives outside of the silver screen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even when, and I hate to jump subjects, but when we was watching, the Yung Berg on Math Hoffa and some of the experiences that he was going through, it just makes you look at Orlando Brown like, these are people.
Yeah.
These are people.
Yeah. It's funny that you
know what I mean?
It's funny.
Chris Brown, they dog that nigga for acting, you fake blood. Like, we don't know these niggas. We don't know these niggas.
Chris Brown
don't validate. No, I'm saying niggas be, Chris Brown ain't no blood. Da, da, da. Like, niggas be real individuals, man.
Yeah.
They really have relationships with people who don't do entertainment.
Yeah. Shout out to Yung Berg too, man. I did not realize how close he was to DMX. That
was his protege.
Close.
That was his protege,
wow.
man. That was his protege. But we forget how lineage tied hip hop is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys we see now, and we won't want to call him Bird, we want to call him Hitmaker. We're going to give him the respect he's due now.
Yeah.
But the evolution of even from being Yung Berg to now Hitmaker, we wouldn't have that without DMX. And then DMX gave him a real bag.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Gave him a real bag. But man, that shit he was saying about Cap One though, man, that shit really fucked me up because I was a fan. I was a fan of Cap. You know what I'm saying? From allegedly him having an issue with the guys who got back at Bird or Hitmaker in Detroit, took the chain. Chain went on tour. Shout out to Math Hoffa because that was unedited. Well, not unedited, but it was an explicit,
pure
interview.
Yeah.
They asked the questions you wanted to hear. Like, I've seen Berg on Love and Hip Hop. I've seen him on a lot of shit, but niggas don't be asking him, like, what happened with you in Detroit? So, and the level of respect that Trick gets is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I think that him, and they talked about the no-fly zone, but him putting that in place helped create the atmosphere for these young Detroit rappers to get out here and let it be known what Detroit is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I really salute Trick for doing that, because and Math Hoffa said it too. Like, you know, cats was coming in and out the city making a bag and leaving, and you know, and Trick was putting a stop to that. Like, nah, y'all not finna come.
And then the guy, I don't know his name. The guy was sitting next to Math Hoffa was saying something like, "Why would they do that?" Well, like, you know, that's like somebody.
Niggas gotta understand Detroit.
Somebody coming to
understand Detroit.
You can't come in here and just extort the place. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. You're not extorting it in the sense of you just saying fuck all these Detroit niggas, but you come in here. You're not asking for the artists who have an up and coming status. You're not putting them on stage with you. You're not putting the bag in their hands so somebody else can eat. So therefore, you can't come unless you're paying some type of homage. Because that's what happens when everybody else goes to every other city.
It was just crazy, like, you know, how that domino affected and now his perception of what, you know, and it was dope to see that Hitmaker was like, you know, it wasn't, I don't think it was disrespect. I think Trick would probably respect the nigga that wasn't looking for no sit down. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? He said what he said.
Right.
And the things that happened.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that Trick I think that he got his point across.
Right.
And I think that man respected the point that he got across to him. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, what's understood don't need to be explained no further. So he said that he didn't see a point of ever having to sit down with Trick because it happened. And the way that he described, they talked about checking in, and this was real important for I think for me to see and be able to convey to the audience that when you rap, we just talked about this.
Yeah.
When you rap in a certain way and you rapping about certain topics, you probably do have to check in when you touch down in the city. But Hitmaker was saying, you know, when I touch down, I'm here for the ladies. I'm a hoe getter. You know, he wasn't there for the street life aspect of the music. He said he touched down, go to his penthouse, fuck on some females, go to his show, fly out. He said he never had to check in. He's always he's been getting booked by the heavyweights.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he was like, you know, that was his aspect of how he approaches the music game, and I had to respect that. Like, okay, everybody ain't on that. Let me be a gangster rapping thing.
And I also want to say this too. I want to double back on something I just said a little earlier with the whole check-in thing. Guys out there, ladies, whatever, check-in don't always mean you checking into some gangsters like that. It also could just mean that you're hollering at the up-and-coming artist that's in that city and you giving them a chance to grace the stage when you get to town. That's what it kind of really is.
Or it could be,
because everything ain't gangster.
You in a nigga city, you know you got people out there. If something happened to you, why not? Even if I go to a state and I got cousins there, I'm going to call my peoples and let them know I'm there.
Right.
Hey, bro, somebody done booked me for the such and such. I'm going to be down there, dog. You bring red carpet out there for me?
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Bringing some people. I know you got some people. Let's have a good time. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times I think that's how it happens. And that's a form of checking in. I think it's all about your relationship with the people you check in with. You don't want it to be like you're checking in with mom and dad. I think people didn't respect that about what Trick was saying. Like, this is his city. And when he said his city, it's the rest of Detroit's resident city too.
Just holler at some bit, and whether you're in Tacoma, Detroit, you just holler at somebody from that area to say, yo, come grace the stage with me. Or, you know what I'm saying?
I'm not pulling down in Long Island and I'm not calling Boom. I ain't calling Q. I ain't letting motherfucking, you know, I ain't letting the nigga know I'm around or I'll be there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, they gonna feel away if I took pictures, I'm out there, then I dipped out there. If you ain't hollering
at us. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what you on, bro? I thought we was crew.
Yeah.
So I don't think checking in is a bad thing. But I did understand Berg's aspect of what he does and how he moves as a businessman.
Right.
But the thing that happened, you know, it really, he said he was the face of the point being made, but it was really an issue with Cap One, allegedly. You know what I'm saying? So then that domino effect into he has a situation with Mano. Shout out to Mano. Shout out to the Lobby Boys. He had a situation with him, and he think that Mano took advantage of the situation. This is pre Instagram and social media. He said this is World Star beginning era.
Yeah.
This is get in when you fit in.
Around the time Mano was still messing with Kim. Yeah.
He said he just came home. So what do you do to get your name out there?
You gotta do something damn magical.
Mav said, so you was the easy target. And I think that Berg stood on his own too when he said he don't think he was the easy target, but he was the one that was trendable right there moment, basically. You know what I'm saying? And it was a moment in time when I think that Mano might have felt disrespected. So you gotta, if you're not a street nigga, you gotta remember street niggas have code and they have times when they feel disrespected. So,
but why would Mano feel disrespected?
I don't know if this was subsequent or if it was something that happened after the fact of him and the melee happening with Berg and his entourage and Mano.
Okay.
But they were doing an interview, and one of the guys from Mav's podcast was saying that he wanted to apologize to Mano because they had these guys coming into the studio to do an interview.
Oh yeah, he said, "Why would you bring him here?"
Right, and it was like you didn't prepare neither one of these guys, but Berg, after getting mollywopped in the city, and when I say the city, I mean Detroit, but getting mollywopped in Detroit, you know, he's now moving different. He's moving with a lot of muscle. And,
as he should.
And I think Mano didn't have really no muscle with him, and he might have took that as some setup type of shit. And
as he should. Yes, you still playing by street rules in essence. So I get.
But at the end of the day, Mano ain't pussy, and he handled his way like he supposed to handle his way. He ain't run from nothing. There wasn't no smoke. Berg wasn't on that. But I think that naturally that shows that there's a division between artists that are gangster rappers and artists that are just musicians.
Trying to live my life.
You know what I'm saying? And Berg not being aggressive in that instance, I think helped the situation. But Berg also said he don't see a reason why him and Mano have to have a sit down now because it really don't matter. He said that him and Jim Jones are like these. And so I'm pretty sure he has a relationship with Mano. It's just not a direct one.
And shout out to Berg, man, because he shot a lot of a lot. And one of the biggest things that really stuck out to me was when he said, the same girl who tried to rob me is the same girl who was with Pop Smoke that night that he got killed.
Wow. See, I didn't see that part of the interview.
This happened before.
I didn't see that part. That's crazy.
Yeah. So and this girl is a known setup girl.
So you can't get mad at some of these guys that move certain ways in the industry. Like we've heard we've heard May's story, we've heard Berg's story now. And we see why, like Berg said in that same interview, he don't really rock with his mom like that. You know what I'm saying? And it was some crazy shit happening in Berg's earlier life. You know what I'm saying? He was wild. You know what I'm saying? We're not getting past that point. And we also gonna dive back with him and his DMX relationship. But he was wild, and now he's an adult.
Yeah.
Way later on in life.
Yeah.
This is how he moves. You know what I'm saying? So it's not hurting anybody, and it's not hurting him, but this is how he moves.
The story was, I guess, Berg was messing around with the chick, and he had cameras in the back of the house, around the whole house actually, and he saw. I'm paraphrasing right now. He saw some guys coming to the back door trying to get through the bottom of the back of the house, and he noticed that old girl was onto that. Not only was she onto that, he was able to kind of kick her out of the house after he kind of made sure those guys got away. Just to see, a few years later, Pop Smoke be set up by the same girl. I'm not sure what came of that girl, or if she's even under investigation or anything like that. But yeah, man, it's a crazy life out there, and we could learn a lot from people like Yung Berg on how to move out here. Obviously, when he said with Mano, you don't have to make everything into something more violent than it actually really is. You could just kind of move past certain things. I don't think that violence is always the answer. Sometimes just being diplomatic can also solve some problems as well, or just being quiet. Man. You're not a bitch for being quiet. You're saving your own life. You know what I'm saying?
Just looking at all that, man, and just looking at the Quando situation and just how everybody got to move in this game right now, and you got to be aware that this is the parts you may be aware of and not aware of. So you got to do some investigating. You got to do some schooling of what's rap now. Not really now, but I mean, I can see that same thing happening with a rapper now that's not really trying to get out here and do it for the gang shit. You know what I'm saying? Being caught up in having to do all that checking in and shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because, a lot of this shit, man, you don't really know where to look at these rappers that nowadays. Like, you don't know if they're entertainers or if they're in the street. Like we see with the YSL shit, you know what I'm saying, with YSL Woody.
And they just keep on
everybody.
getting, wow.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
more charges.
Like, you think these guys get into the game and they getting money and they not in the street no more. They not, so another cat that just might be doing music.
Yeah.
For instance, like a Drake or something.
Yeah.
You may get booked for some shit. But we don't know if Drake got to check in or not. But Drake might just, niggas know Drake coming to town, so, Drake might already been had conversations with the right people way beforehand.
Yeah.
And not even really on no check-in shit, just, I see maybe you coming to town, man, like, you gonna be on the 23rd. Oh, yeah, whole OVO gonna be out there, man, we got love for you, baby, da-da-da-da. You just never know how these things play out.
Speaking of Drake, man, one of the most, and I gotta give it to him as far as, like, his pettiness and his drive as an artist.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very strategic rapper, I would say, when it comes to dissing or just the way he moves around.
Yeah, I think he got one of the better disses that we've been able to hear in a long time. In this era.
As we know, Kendrick Lamar is on his Big Steppers tour, and they were just out in New York performing. And
shout out to Kendrick. He's been everywhere. He's just in Michigan a week and a half ago.
So Drake ends up getting a box at, I forgot exactly what stage that was on that they graced, but he ends up getting a box at Kendrick's
so he there to support.
I took it like he was there to support.
Paid a nice number for a ticket, right?
Yeah, and everybody else was taking it like he was taking away the fame from Kendrick to the box.
Yeah.
I said to myself, I think that's stupid. Not to say that he was being stupid.
You think so?
No, I don't think he was doing that. I think he just got to enjoy it.
We get to see artists appreciating other artists now, man. Like, hip-hop has evolved.
Yeah.
It's not the era of Tupac and Jay-Z and Big no more, where niggas couldn't go and show some appreciation for a nigga that's on stage tonight. You get the chance to be a fan.
Yeah. And you got your own box. You watching one of your favorite artists. We all know that they're some of each other's favorite artists.
That goes back to what we was talking about with Orlando Brown and people just being people, man.
Yeah.
You gotta let these people be people.
Yep.
You gotta let these people be people. If he's a fan of what Kendrick is doing, I don't see nothing wrong with Jay-Z going to see J. Cole perform or Jay-Z going to see
Jay gonna get a box
perform.
If he not in the front row, like with all the what's in the guards there, he gonna be in the box.
Man. Come on, man. So I think it was pretty dope to know that Drake has that respect for artists in the industry to go see a legend perform. Come on, man. Why would I not go spend that money? It's like right now with Chris Brown doing the meet and greets with his fans, and people say the number ain't right, but if a person is gonna pay for a legend, let them pay for the legend. Let them guys get what they worth.
Put the dice in your hand, man.
Let Drake
taught
give
y'all how to
Kendrick his
hustle.
flowers now.
Nip taught y'all how to hustle, man. Proud to pay. That's what that is, a proud to pay program. If you're gonna pay $1,000 to go see one of your favorite artists, why not?
You know what that does? It puts a stamp on the Kendrick tour. Oh, Drake went to go see that.
Right.
It's like Jay-Z buying that boat order from Nip.
Yeah.
It lets the people know this is a good product. Go check it out.
You
know what I'm saying? So I don't see nothing wrong with it. I salute him for doing it. Shout out to Drake and the whole OVO, man.
And shout out to Chris Brown for the $1,000 backstage passes.
And that album go up, man.
That
album go up. I pay for my title every month. I make sure I get my streams in, man. See what I'm saying? I make sure I get my streams in. But let's take a break. We're gonna get right back at y'all in a minute. Politically Incorrect.